All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. It's Friday. Woo, this is the day that the Lord has made, and we're going to rejoice and be glad in it. For those of you that are coming on, if you're coming on, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm excited about today. This is the day that the Lord has made. This is Friday. I hope all of you are having an amazing Friday so far. If you're not, I want you to just take a few minutes and just woo-saw, breathe in, breathe out, shake yourself out of whatever the rut is, because it's time for us to get some game, to get some information, to get some application, to get some training for what we know we should be doing in 2021. So if you're coming on, please do me a favor very quickly. I want you to hit the like button, the share button, and tag Lolly Dolly everybody and let them know Prophet Ramon Preston, the Ramon Preston Show, and the squad. We are live in his house right here, right now, coming from the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta. Today is Friday, June 25th, 2021. And as we prepare to shift into the second half of this calendar year, as we prepare to shift into the next 6 months of 2021, it is my honor, it is my privilege, it is my responsibility, my duty, it is my assignment to bring you information to help you get to your place of success. So for those of you that are coming on, I hope that you've already hit the like button, the share button, tagged somebody. If you haven't, please do so, and drop the name of the city or the country or the region, wherever you are. Drop where you're watching from in the comments so that all of our listeners, all of our viewers, and everybody that comes on even after the live show ends, that they can see where exactly you're watching us from. Shout out to all of you that have joined our one-year business coaching program. Thank you. Salute to you. Shout out to all of you that are a part of our online education and training platform called the Blueprint Game Plan. Shout out to you. Salute you. Shout out to all of you that have signed up for our upcoming business workshop tomorrow. That's what I'm going to be talking about today, our upcoming business workshop tomorrow. Shout out to all of my tribe members, family members, friends, those of you that watch the show, you support the show, you support the movement. I appreciate you. Thank you for all of what you do to help us continue to do what we've been assigned and called by God to do. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ramon Preston Show. I am your host, Ramon Preston, and every Monday through Friday, with the exception of circumstances, situations, responsibilities, demands that come up that cause me to miss a show or two. With that exception, every Monday through Friday, we come to you and we bring you information to help you properly start, structure, and scale your businesses, your ministries, your income streams, and even your wealth building dreams. These are the core competencies of our organization. And those core competencies are seen and executed through our consulting group, our coaching program, and our online educational training platform. And so it's always a pleasure for me to come on this show and to share with you information, to give you value, because I want you to succeed. I want your ideas. I want your inventions. I want your dreams, your desires, your aspirations and ambitions. I want it all to come to pass. And I know it can come to pass, especially when you get the right information, especially when you learn to put that right information to practice. You will see success in those areas of your life. And so today, as we prepare for our VIP business workshop tomorrow, which is going to be 4 hours that I'm going to be in our boardroom right here in Buckhead, and I'm going to be deep diving into all of the intricate details, all of the strategies, all of the tactics, all of the principles and practices that make up starting and structuring holding companies. I'm going to be answering questions. I'm going to be helping others that are present, whether they are in person or virtually present. I'm going to be helping them, or you, if you're going to be a part of it, properly start your holding company, making sure that your paperwork is correct, making sure that your filing process is correct, making sure that you're structuring it correct, making sure that you have the right divisions and subsidiaries. So I'm going to do a little bit of talking today and answering some questions if you have questions today on the holding company. And so if you have questions about a holding company, excuse me, if you are interested in starting or structuring a holding company, if you have a holding company, but you're just not maximizing it and you're not necessarily building it out and expanding it, I want to help answer some of those questions. I want to help solve some of those problems. I want to move some of those barriers out of your way. And tomorrow we're going to land in this workshop for 4 hours, probably going to be more than 4 hours. I'm always over delivering with my time and my information and efforts, because I'm not just the educator, I'm also a trainer. But I'm not just a trainer, I'm also a practitioner. So that means I practice what I preach and teach. I practice what I educate and train people on. And so it's very difficult for me to educate you and to have an opportunity to train you, which is different than just educating you. It's hard for me to do that and not help you put those things to practice. So if you have any questions during this show today, I want you to take a moment and I want you to give me a ring. Ring, 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 ring. Give me a ring. You can dial 678-922-1963 extension number 1. That number is 678-922-1963 extension 1. One more again, 678-922-1963 extension number 1. When you dial that number, it's going to reroute directly to my cell phone, and I will be able to answer the call and answer your question while we live in the His House today. You can also ask your questions in the comments. You can give me some feedback on what your take is about a holding company. You can do what you want to do. You can just hang out with me for the next few minutes. But I am excited because just within the last several months, it's really been more than just the first 6 months of this year, because we really started this coaching journey. I formed this business coaching program. I think we launched our first 90-day coaching program sometime in October, November. That was the first time we introduced it. It was a 90-day coaching program. We had a few people that did respond to it, and we saw the success in those few people who responded to it. Shortly after, coming into 2021, my team and I, we decided to develop a strategy to extend that 90-day coaching program, business coaching program, to extend it from 90 days to 1 year. And some of the thought behind that was because of the type of business consulting we provide, because of the type of professional services that we render to our typical clients. We knew that it would take at least 1 year from beginning to end for an entrepreneur to really be able to start, structure, and scale whatever the organization, whatever the entity is that they want to bring to light. And so since we have launched this 1 year business coaching program, almost everyone in our business coaching program either has a holding company because we've helped them start it and structure it, or they're in the process of starting and structuring a holding company. And for the few who already had pre-existing entities already established, we have helped educate them and further train them on how to maximize these current existing entities that they have. So just because you don't have a holding company, you may have a different type of LLC, you may have a different type of entity, doesn't necessarily mean you can't maximize the concept. So a lot of this information I'm gonna be sharing tomorrow, because I'm dealing with different types of entrepreneurs. I'm dealing with some entrepreneurs who have holding companies. I'm dealing with some entrepreneurs that don't have holding companies, may not necessarily see the need for a holding company, but still want to utilize the concept of a holding company. So I'm going to be breaking a lot of that down. I'm going to be dealing with a lot of it. And as you see in the description, hopefully you do see it in the description of today's show, we have an offer for this 4-hour workshop that we're going to be hosting tomorrow, and that offer is for $29.99. So literally for $30, for almost the cost of some books, for $30, you can attend in person tomorrow or virtually tomorrow for 4 hours, receive a manual or a workbook on starting and structuring a holding company, and have the opportunity to be educated and trained by me on starting and structuring a holding company. And trust me, I know information is everywhere today. I know you can just about Google anything today. But just because information is everywhere, just because you can Google anything on any topic, doesn't necessarily mean what you find is going to properly educate you. It doesn't mean what you find is going to thoroughly train you, and it doesn't mean that it's going to actually work for you. So sometimes a lot of information can be good, but it can be detrimental if it's not the right information. So for all of you who are watching me today, who are interested in being a part of our workshop tomorrow because you want to learn new information about a holding company or more information about a holding company, you might have a whole lot of questions that you need answered. You might be a do-it-yourselfer and you just need to figure out some of the nuances and intricate details and the complexities that you can't quite figure out, that many people might not have access to, or have access to it and don't want to share it with you. I want to make that information available for you. So again, if you have any questions, please feel free to call today. You can call in today if you have any questions. I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. And if you would like to be a part of our workshop tomorrow, then what you need to do once this show ends, you could do a couple things. We've given you a few options. Number one, you can click the link that's in the description. I should have sent you that link.
I'm sending it out.
There's a link that
Your link. Okay, I got you.
yeah, it's a link to the university portal
Okay.
that I just that we just sent out to everybody yesterday.
Okay.
It's a link, but either way, you can click the link and you can go to our university platform through that link and pay the $29.99, and it will onboard you. It will automatically onboard you to our university training platform, and that's where you will be able to access the live virtual workshop tomorrow. If you're not familiar with any of that technical language and you're just not comfortable with it, you can just reach out to us today by texting VIP special to 404-478-7213. That information is in the comments. And if you text VIP special to that number, we're going to reach out to you today and we're going to sign you up. You're going to get a confirmation and a receipt for your payment of $29.99. And shortly after signing up and getting that immediate confirmation for your payment, you're going to receive a link that will onboard you to our training program, our platform, and you'll have access tomorrow at 12 o'clock noon. Of course, it'll be earlier than that, so you can participate in our business workshop. Or you might be able to just make it here in person. We've got plenty room available in person. So we want to accommodate everybody, whether it's in person or virtual. So I'm not going to go into all the stuff that I'm going to talk about tomorrow in the workshop, because it's just too much information that I need to cover. And it's going to take me probably about the entire 4 hours to not only cover certain topics concerning a holding company, but it's also going to take me a lot of time to deal with some of the techniques and the tactics. So when it comes to properly starting and structuring a holding company, of course, it begins with you understanding what a holding company is. It begins with you understanding how a holding company actually works, or in other words, the purpose behind a holding company. A lot of people, they never even entertain the idea of starting a holding company because, number one, they don't know what a holding company is, and they don't necessarily know how a holding company works. In other words, they don't know what the purpose behind a holding company is. So if you don't know what it is and you don't know what the purpose of it is, most likely you're not going to be interested in it, and you're not going to entertain the idea of it, because you might just think a holding company is no different than any other LLC or any other company or legal entity that you start through your Secretary of State. But that's not necessarily true. As a matter of fact, a lot of the companies that you as a customer and client do business with on a daily basis, a lot of those companies are a part of a business conglomerate, or they're a part of a ecosystem of businesses that are all owned by a holding company. More properly speaking, you may be doing business every day with certain supermarkets, with certain gas stations, with certain car dealerships, with certain apparel lines, with certain products and services that you use. You may be doing business, and I'm certain you are doing business every day with companies, or more properly speaking, with subsidiaries that are actually owned by holding companies. And the holding companies that own them have structured them that way for specific purposes, for specific reasons. And just because major multi-billion-dollar global companies are using the holding company concept as a way to structure their organizations, it doesn't mean those of you who may be solopreneurs, independent contractors, you may be employees who just want to have a hustle on the side. It doesn't mean you can't use that same structure, and it doesn't mean that you shouldn't, because you actually can and you should, because there are so many advantages to you properly starting and structuring your business. Most people that I talk to, and I'm not talking about like as a business consultant, just as a human being, most people that I talk to about business don't have an idea of the disadvantages they are operating in when they just try to start a single business and grow that single business and expand that single business. This is why out of the 31 plus million small businesses in the United States of America today, over 99% of those small businesses, number one, don't have more than 2 or 3 employees, and number 2, they don't even make no more than $100,000 a year, which means most of the 31 plus million businesses in the United States of America are small. They are limited in their resources. They are struggling. They are ran by single operators, and they have no way to scale, not because they don't want to scale, but because they were not started and structured correctly. So I use that tagline. I use that as a part of our slogan, that we start, structure, and scale businesses. But that tagline or slogan is actually a part of a wealth building process to help you maximize concepts like the holding company. And so I want you to at least consider it if you do not have a holding company or if you do not understand the concept. And I'm not just trying to sell you a workshop. Of course, I want you to pay for it and show up and be educated and trained and learn these techniques and tactics. But at the same time, if you're out there doing business, if you're out there grinding and hustling and it seems like you're on a business treadmill, at some point you have to stop, right? And you got to take a look at how you have started and how you have structured the things that you're doing. Because it's probably not you, it's probably not some of the products and services that you provide. It's probably the infrastructure that you're using that is already broken, meaning that when you try to incorporate products and services, when you try to incorporate people, even when you try to incorporate systems, it fails because the infrastructure is not right. I like to use as an example a house. Let's say if you go to Haverty's and you just buy 6 or 7 bedrooms or rooms in a house worth of furniture and appliances. You go to Haverty's, you go to Best Buy, you go to Brand Smart. You go to all these places and you just get furniture, you just get appliances, you go to Home Depot, you get equipment, you get Berber carpet, you get Viking appliances for your kitchen. I mean, you just get the best of the best, right? But then you purchase all of this equipment, all of this furniture, all of these appliances, all of these fixtures, all of this hardware, only to bring all of these trucks full of hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of goods to a property that you realize is crumbling because the infrastructure was not done correctly. So even though all the stuff you want to put in it is good, even though you got grand ideas of how you gonna be barbecuing in the back of that house, how y'all gonna be swimming and just hanging out, how you gonna have a slip and slide for the kids, how you gonna have a basketball goal on the side, how you gonna have a tennis court in the back, how you gonna have a game room and you're gonna have a movie theater, how you gonna have your man cave or the place where your lady can just go and chill and relax. You got all these ideas, but none of those ideas can come to pass or happen. Why? Because you got all the right stuff, but the infrastructure is incorrect. And so the house cannot hold, or that piece of property cannot house or facilitate all the things you want to bring into it. Well, it's just the same as a business. It's just the same as a legal entity. This is one of the reasons why there is nobody that I talk to. I can't think of nobody. There's nobody that I talk to about business. There's nobody I talk to about wealth building. There's nobody I talk to about money, about finances, about getting the bag, that at some point in me talking to them, I don't bring up the holding company because I know how important it is. Let me give you some names that you might be familiar with that to show you how powerful holding companies are. Have you ever heard of Johnson & Johnson? You ever heard of Johnson & Johnson?
Mm-hmm.
Say what now? She says she's suing them too. Johnson & Johnson is a holding company.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, I don't even want you to believe me. I want you to do what I like to do sometimes when people be capping and I feel like they lying. I just go to Google and I put in, let me see, I'm gonna put major holding companies in America. I'm gonna put major holding companies in America. Look at this. The first thing came up was top 100 largest financial holding company rankings by total assets. Look at that. Top 100. Number one, JP Morgan Chase and Company. They have over $3.6 trillion in assets. They are a financial holding company. Mitsubishi, 3.2 trillion holding company. Bank of America, 2.9 trillion holding company. SHBC Holdings, 2.9 trillion. I mean, we can go on and on. Citigroup, these are just some common ones we know. Wells Fargo is number 11. Goldman Sachs is 12. Morgan Stanley, 13. Berkshire Hathaway, that's Warren Buffett's company, number 15. Charles Schwab, 18. Trying to see if we can find some Truist Financial Corporation. Anybody know Truist? Truist is the new company that that SunTrust and BB&T created. But you see how it was two different companies. You had SunTrust and you had BB&T. They merged through a merger and acquisition. They created a new holding company called Truist. Now they're number 22 on the top 100.
Wow.
So because they understand the concept, they understand
That's good.
the advantages of being able to utilize this specific business system concept in order to maximize their profitabilities, in order to expand, in order to really get the valuations that they need, and to bring all of their overall assets together. All of this happens through holding companies. Let me say some other names. Some of these names we probably don't even know. American Express, Ally Financial, we know about them. Ameriprise, SVB Financial, Allstate, Sony Financial Holdings, Genworth, we know about them. These are some of the names that some people know about. Synovus, that's a local bank we know about. Metropolitan Bank and Trust Company. Citadel, we know about them. I'm trying to see if there's some other names that people might be familiar with. But I think y'all get my drift, right? My drift in this is that there are holding companies that exist. Alphabet is the company that owns Google. It's a holding company. Alphabet owns Google. Alphabet, I believe it also owns YouTube. Barclays, that's another bank. That's another holding company. I'm looking through the alphabet now. Capital One, Citizens Bank Corp, huh?
Somebody said, how can I reach out to connect and have a one-on-one chat with you, my brother?
You can reach out to me today by dialing 404-478-7213. That number is in the comments. You can dial 404 after the show is over. If you want to have a chat offline, just call 404-478-7213. See, I'm so interested in this. Douche Bank, Discover, they have credit cards. They're a holding company. First Third Bank, holding company. First Citizens Bank, holding company. Green Dot Corporation. All these holding companies, I mean, it is absolutely amazing. They have to know something that most people don't know. They have to understand something that most people don't understand. And my point, or at least one of my points in bringing that up, is for you and I, for you and I to see that when this information becomes available to you in a way that is digestible and in a way that is not so sophisticated that you can't apply it, you have to maximize that information. You have to take advantage of that information. I've been saying it more, and the reason why I'm saying it more recently, and I've been more bold than ever before throughout this year, is because this pandemic has highlighted how horrible certain systems are in this economy. And because it has been highlighted, it's like crucially important for those of us, especially those of us who are in the faith community, those of us that are in minority communities, the black community. We're already subjected to certain systemic flaws and failures that keep us bound and down. That means once we elevate our thinking and heighten our awareness by gathering data and information to make us better and to give us an opportunity to operate better, once we get that, we got to grab it and we got to run with it. I've been saying some of the things that I'm saying today for the last 3 years. I started talking about wealth building 3 years ago. I started positioning myself and my family, my organization, for wealth building 3 years ago. Prior to 3 years ago, you ain't gonna be able to go on social media and find a whole lot of videos with me talking about wealth building. Because prior to 3 years ago, I wasn't on a journey to building wealth. My wife and I had a good life. My wife and I had a business that was making money. My wife and I were building something that either way would have definitely been sustainable for us and for our family, but it was not centered around real wealth building. And because it wasn't centered around real wealth building, we were not having a conversation about holding companies, divisions, subsidiaries, business conglomerates. I knew a lot of that information intellectually, but I did not implement that and live by that practically because I did not have a high enough awareness of the importance of it. But 3 years ago, after making one of the biggest decisions of my life, which was to reset my whole business, to reset my whole ministry, and to relocate my whole family, and to literally start over with whatever the fragments were that were left. After making that major decision, I realized real quick that number one, well, you crazy, because you willing to just walk away from everything. But number two, I realized that, for lack of a better term, the game that I was playing was too small. So I had to get my game up for another level. So I was playing a game that was making me money. I was playing a game that was moving me forward. But the game was too small to really give me a sustainable ability to really excel and create generational wealth and to build a legacy for my family. And one of the key components to that, why are you bringing all this up, Ramon? Because one of the key components to that was and still is my understanding of the holding company and how that concept plays out in a real world when you're building a business organization or an enterprise. All right? So I consider the holding company to be by far the best business system. Okay, I consider the holding company to be by far the best business system. And guess what? You might have a different opinion about it, or other people you might talk to may have a different opinion about it, but let me tell you something. I just read names of some of the top 100 holding companies in America, and in most cases in the world. And guess what they're holding? They're holding over $3 trillion, trillion with the T, in assets. So holding companies play a major role in our society, in these economic systems. The truth is, if you've got less than 100 companies, many of which are holding trillions of dollars in assets, can you imagine how much power and control these organizations collectively have? Can you imagine that? Like, I mean, seriously, that is like a big deal.
It is.
Like, when you think about it, let's see here, just the top, I mean, this is amazing. I'm gonna just look at the top 10 holding companies in America. So that's 3.6, 3.2, 2.9. You got a calculator? Let me calculate that. I need to know these numbers. Now I'm getting into being a nerd on live, because when I want to know some numbers, I want to know them. So let me see here, 3.6. Wow, how does your calculator work?
Same as
You ain't got
yours.
no dot, you got a comma.
Yeah, that was weird.
Wow.
Yeah, that was weird.
3.6 plus 3.2, okay, plus 2.9, plus 2.9, plus 2.9, plus 2.6, plus 2.6, plus 2.3, plus 2.1, plus 2. So think about it. The top 10 largest holding companies in America, the top 10, not the top 100, the top 10, they control and hold more than $27 trillion worth of assets. $27 trillion, come on y'all. Just the top 10. So if the top 10 that holds and controls over $27 trillion of assets in these things called holding companies, if they're using that concept, there has to be something about that concept that the average person ain't understanding. Because ain't no average person got no trillions, ain't no average person got no billions, ain't no average person got millions. Average people ain't even got hundreds of thousands. I know a whole lot of average people that ain't even got 5 figures, 4 figures. They might have 1, 2, or 3 figures on a good day. So that means we've got to change, watch this, not just our mindsets, but we've got to change the framework for which we structure our businesses so that we can see the same level of success other people groups are seeing because of how they structure their business systems and the framework that they use. If you agree with me on that, please let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. I would love to hear what your thoughts are in the comments. I'm getting ready to go. I'm not going to be on here a long time today because I have a lot of prepping up that we need to do. And we have an amazing workshop that we're going to be hosting tomorrow. But I want to at least give you an opportunity, because so many people are going to be regretting a lot of things that people like me are saying, and giving them an opportunity to take advantage of. A lot of people are going to be regretting it in the next couple of years. When things shift and we realize that we had an opportunity and we missed it, there are a lot of people that's going to regret that because they won't be able to come back to this moment and relive it and redo it. So I consider the holding company to be by far the best business system. And when a holding company is started and structured with that type of framework, that holding company literally becomes the parent or umbrella for other divisions and other subsidiaries. Now, in my own personal and even professional estimation, I believe all holding companies should be viewed as, and I'm just piecing this together so you can at least understand what I'm saying. I believe holding companies should be viewed as legacy companies. Legacy companies. So when I consult or coach someone to start a holding company, I am consulting them to adopt the point of view that this holding company is actually their legacy company, which means that they may have hundreds of operating companies. They may be selling all kind of products and services for the next 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years. But the one thing that may not change, although some of those operating companies may change, will be their holding company, because they did it right the first time and structured it as a legacy company. So that means when a legacy company is established, that company is established and structured in a way that it will outlive whoever starts and structures it. So, for example, my holding company is Ramon Preston Enterprises. So although that name is a reflection of me, although that name represents a lot of different things that our business as a whole does with regard to real estate, investing, consulting, coaching, education, and training, nevertheless, outside of all of those individual things that we may do in the marketplace, Ramon Preston Enterprises as a holding company has been structured, has been created, it has been established as a legacy company to exist way beyond my personal coaching, my personal consulting, my wife and I doing a real estate deal. That company as a legacy company is going to outlive that. And so when you start and structure your holding company as a legacy company, it becomes the parent or the umbrella of your conglomerate, of other divisions and other subsidiaries. But it also includes all of the other critical components that you're going to need in order to build those divisions and those subsidiaries out. I've learned that when you structure a company like a holding company, it also helps you process your ideas better. It helps you process your ideas better. Remember, I was talking about that yesterday in our session, how I was explaining to her, because you have the holding company set up where you have the umbrella and then you have all your divisions and subsidiaries. When you get an idea, the first thing you want to do is drop that idea under the umbrella. And now that idea doesn't become some spinoff without going through the proper vetting process. So if I get an idea for something, I'm going to drop it in my holding company, even if it starts in my mind, and I want to decide and decipher and filter that process to see, does this idea need to be a division in my holding company? Is it a product or a service that I can package and price and introduce to the marketplace? Is it a subsidiary of my holding company? Or is it just a form of intellectual property that needs to be copywritten or just created in a way that it's not a physical product or service, or it's not an operating business? You can't filter that or vet the things that come to your mind if you don't understand that concept. This is one of the, I'm gonna make it real easy for y'all to understand what I just said. This is one of the reasons why when you see certain entrepreneurs or people who say they're business owners, they all over the place. They got 18 businesses and none of the 18 businesses are making money. It's because they did not build the right infrastructure. It's not that their ideas are not good. It's not that they're not ambitious. It's not that they don't want to be concentrated and focused and succeed. It's just that they did not have the right infrastructure. So every time they get an idea, they think it's another LLC. Every time something comes to their mind, they think it's another business. But if they understood that concept, they wouldn't just be spreading themselves so thin. So if you want to learn everything you need to learn about starting and structuring a holding company, I want you to reach out to us today. You can text VIP to 404-478-7213. You can click the link and take a look at the workshop course that we have sitting on our university platform, which is where you will access it tomorrow if you're streaming virtual for the workshop. And if you're showing up in person, all you got to do is just reserve your seat, lock it in, and show up tomorrow right here in our Buckhead boardroom. So, ladies and gentlemen, I love y'all. I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for your participation. Let me just take a look real quick to see if I can get some shout outs on YouTube and Facebook. Do we have any shout outs? Do we have any cities that are representing today? Any cities? Let me see if I can find a city. Trustworthy said, wow, it's all about the concept. Yes, it is. It's all about the concept. So I appreciate all of you for joining us today. I want y'all to have an amazing weekend. And for those of you that are able and available, I want you to consider to join me tomorrow for our business workshop. And for everybody else who just gonna sit on the sidelines for another season and watch the world go by and never get to where they supposed to be, so long, baby boo. We love you, but we gotta go. All right, y'all have an amazing weekend, and we'll see you next